AI world is moving so fast. I just remember 1 year ago, I was using Cursor. Back then, Cursor felt insane. It was new, it was powerful, but it was still very, very hands-on. I was looking through the code. I was telling it very specific tasks and changes that I want to do, like refactor this, update this logic, change this query. So I was still pretty much inside the code base, driving the actions all the time. And yes, I was much faster than before writing manually, but I was still programming. Then a few months later, Claude Code came out. I tried it, and honestly, I was kind of shocked. It was way better. It made so much more fun as well. At first, I resisted because it was a CLI tool. I did not want to go back to terminal tools, felt like going backwards. But once I've actually committed, things changed. I've been using Claude Code for about 6 months, and I do not look at code at all. Like at the very least, just reviewing the PR it actually sends to me. I let Claude Code review the code in itself. But my workflow has completely shifted from being the main driver of doing the changes and planning everything out to just writing specs, defining workflows, setting up systems that build systems. So I use stuff like ChatPRD or even different Claude Flow, beam methods. There are lots of frameworks and tools out there that help you do the system, do the workflow, define PRDs, break down tasks, and it changes more into becoming a kind of a manager role, managing teams and coworkers, swarms of agents basically. So it's more about workflows and managing than actual coding, but it's still very much engineering. I then let Claude, based on all the guardrails that I've put into and the specs that I've gave it to, plan the implementation. It would just ask me what it needs to do. It would just ask me questions if it needs anything or needs clarification. Then it would just go on, build a feature, and even test it, document it, and then just, implement stuff in parallel. I call them waves. So imagine this, you have a huge feature that you want to implement, and specs are defined. You have the workflows and the guardrails and your best practices, everything in place, documentations. AI is everything it needs to do the work just as you imagined to. You then let it break down the tasks, analyze what of the tasks can be done in parallel, and then it goes on and implements, tests, and verifies, documents these tasks in parallel. I call them waves. You have different waves because different tasks depends on this, because some tasks have dependencies. What you then do is just guide the waves, kind of see them as checkpoints, commit every wave after it's been tested. You test it yourself, and then you just review the PR. You do all those waves until your feature or your product is finally implemented. You just iterate this process until the task has been completely solved, whether it's a whole SaaS or just a complex feature in your existing SaaS or software. And then once you completed the cycle and you've teached it all the mistakes, solved all the mistakes that it did, you just ask it to, based on the conversation history, to improve the workflow itself, and that is insane. This principle has been called compound engineering by different sources, and I like this very much idea. And this is where the engineering part comes even more into play. You're not just coding and building software. You're building and compounding or engineering whole systems that in itself can build different systems, and all this spirals down and improves your workflow, makes you more productive and more robust and more confident. But with all of what I've just told you about what I know about Claude Code, I still feel very much behind. Now is OpenClaw trending, and I delayed trying it, playing around with it for like 1 or 2 weeks because I just kept hearing all about the security issues, and I thought it's just all hype and that, it will be over in just a couple of weeks. But now OpenAI has acquired Peter Steinberger, who's the creator of OpenClaw, which is basically insane when you think about it. Just one person that has been coding alone with swarms of agents and has now been acquired and is kind of a one-person unicorn, first ever in the history of humanity. So this space moves insane fast. And I, who am on tech Twitter 24/7, trying and coding up until late nights, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., reading all the posts and following all the hypes and just being really in that bubble, even I feel behind. So how do you not feel behind? So how do you not fall behind? This is the question. And I personally think you cannot chase everything. What worked for me is like pick one mainstream tool, something that's proven, and go deep into that. Optimize your workflows, understand the core principles, and build your workflow around that thing. Because once you zoom out, you see that all these tools are adapting working patterns and principles and becoming one thing. Think about it. We have now the agent MD files. We have agents in every single tool. Everything is based on MD files, basically. You have the skills, you have the plugins, you have tool calling, and it's all the same patterns, sometimes different names, but even now they're evolving into the same just protocols and principles. Think about programming. Like, we stopped thinking about what language is the best. We focus on patterns and architecture. And in my opinion, AI tooling is just going through the same phase. If you understand these principles, switching tools becomes easy. And if you chase every hype, you will never go deep into one thing. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't play around and be curious. Stay curious, try everything. I now have OpenClaw running on my old ThinkPad. It does my TikTok marketing completely automated. Right now, as I'm recording this video, it's building one new SaaS, one new tool that I wanted to try out building. So yeah, stay curious, try out stuff, but go deep into one thing. That's the whole message of this video. And we are still early. I'm really excited to see where this all goes. Let me know what's your favorite tool that you're using right now and what you're most excited about. I'm really curious to see. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.